the Yankees lose their sixth straight series, this time losing 3 out of 4 home against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, luckily, again, the Yankees were able to salvage the final game of the series. Uh, and so on record day, uh, it's a little bit more positive than maybe it would have been, where in a lot of cases the Yankees had failed to sweep. Now it's been reverse, where the Yankees, they lose the series. It's still, and this was 3 out of 4 at home. So it's a mostly bad situation currently for the Yankees, but still a big win when you consider the fact that, it was getting close and it still might become close. But the Yankees now have an 8-game lead on the Blue Jays and the Rays. If the Yankees had lost this game today, it would have only been a 6-game lead. So this was a big win to finish it out, but the Yankees it's really been tough. The offense has been bad, specifically. And look, the pitching hasn't really been great either. But for the Yankees, it's been tough. It's been really tough. And the Blue Jays aren't even really playing great baseball. That's the thing. The Blue Jays coming in, we're not playing very well. The Rays really were not playing all that well. But the Yankees have been playing really bad. And going into today's win, they were 3-14 in their last 17 games, 12-25 in the last 37 games. They had the worst record of any team in baseball in the month of August. Just really, really bad stuff. Almost historically bad in some statistics. And it won't get any easier, playing the Mets, who are playing really well. And, you're going to get a rematch of Scherzer-DeGrom, which is not a great matchup. And then the second game, it might be DeGrom. It'll be Frankie Montas for the Yankees, who's been awful since he's been a Yankee. In his 3 starts, he's been bad. And it might be DeGrom. It might be Taijuan Walker, but it might be Scherzer and DeGrom. And so, anyway you look at that, for the Yankees, you're really just hoping to kind of split these games. You're not winning both. Anything can happen, don't get me wrong, but if the Yankees can just win one of these 2 Met games, you take it, considering the pitching matchups and the way that the Yankees are playing. But then the Yankees will head out west. And that's never easy. The matchups are technically on the easier side at Oakland and at the Angels. Those are 2 of the worst teams in the league. But you just don't know. And those West Coast games can be really tricky. So, this series, Oswaldo Cabrera plays every game. I'm just thinking about, the roster. Aaron Hicks only started the final game of the series. So Hicks has really been demoted, and deservedly so. Even though the alternatives are not great, I'm glad that Aaron Hicks has really been relegated, but he did play against Manoa. Didn't do anything, but he did start in that game. Oswaldo Cabrera, I'll say this, the defense, the versatility, and just the defensive play has been really exciting to watch. He robbed a home run in the second game of the series. He made a really nice play in Game 3 of the series near the tarp in foul territory. And then today's game, he kind of made a Jeter-esque sort of play at shortstop in the hole, sort of leap, and he makes the play. So Cabrera's kind of defensive versatility and just good play and confidence has been good. The offensive side has been rough, no question about it. And so that ultimately will probably hurt Cabrera's chances of playing. But I think for now, you'll still see him in the lineup. I like the energy that he brings. It's a different feel. The Yankees, it's been tough times, and it's been pretty dull. And so Cabrera has definitely brought in a little different element to the team. So there's that. We spoke about Clay Holmes going on the IL, which was confirmed. That did happen. And so the Yankees called up Ron Marinaccio. So that's a good thing. The fact that Marinaccio is back on the team still looks pretty good. Pitched a couple of games in this series. Aroldis Chapman is back to shit. No surprise by me. If you've heard me, I never really cared all that much to the fact that he did well. I gave him credit, but I never was fooled into thinking that he'd be anything. You can't trust the guy. But forgetting about him for a second, um, Albert Abreu placed on the IL after struggling in this series. He did in games 1 and 3. He's placed out. Is it a Phantom IL situation? It might be. It might be one of those Phantom IL things. And Luke Bard was recalled. He had been on the Rays earlier this season. He had previously been on the Angels. So we'll see. A depth bullpen guy. He had good numbers with the Rays. And if the Rays are interested in you, that's a good sign. So we'll see what that's all about. Of somewhat concern is Scott Effross, who was looking like, in terms of pecking order, it seemed like he was kind of at the top of that. Effross was not available for the Sunday game after he pitched on Saturday with shoulder stiffness. So that could be an IL situation, which would be unfortunate. And if that does happen, you'd expect Clark Schmidt to get the call. They've wanted him to be a starter, and I understand that, but I think you kind of just need bodies at this point and good arms. And Clark Schmidt does provide a good arm. So we'll see. Maybe the Effross thing is a day-to-day situation, but there's a fear that could be an IL stint for sure. And so let's jump into the series, and really an ugly one at that. It really was. We'll talk about some positives towards the end, but Frankie Montas has been bad as a Yankee. The Cardinals game, you kind of gave him the mulligan. It was a weird situation, making his debut. He had a death in the family. And the Red Sox game was an improvement. It wasn't amazing, but it was a pretty nice outing. And this one against the Blue Jays was bad. It's a 5-run second inning, and the Yankees were done at that point. It was over. So Montas, it'll be very interesting to see how he does against the Mets, where that's a pretty big outing, especially if it's against DeGrom, let's just say. What will Frankie Montas provide? But so far, returns are bad. And not for nothing, J.P. Sears, who the Yankees will see in Oakland, has been pitching pretty damn well for the A's. So, the good thing, as far as that deal goes, Lou Trevino was a major reason why the Yankees won the one game they had. He went 2 1/3 innings in Game 4 of the series. So Trevino could actually, maybe almost be a more productive piece than Frankie Montas, which would be bad if that's the case, but it's possible. And so in this one, and speaking about the lineup, LeMahieu, of course, leads off. Eventually, by Game 4, he was batting cleanup, and it actually worked. So don't be surprised if going into the Mets series, you see Benintendi lead off, Judge bat second, Rizzo bat third, and LeMahieu bat fourth. They might go that route. I don't know long-term what'll happen there, but it did work. Anyway, LeMahieu would lead off this game. You saw Estevan Florial start a couple of these games, with not much success for Florial. He did have an RBI single in Game 3. But, pretty standard lineup, I would say. Hicks is kind of a bench staple at this point in time. So Game 1 saw Hicks on the bench, Marwin, who we would see later in the series, and then the other guy on the bench would have been, who didn't play in this game? I don't know why I'm blanking. It was Hicks out, Marwin, and someone is escaping me as far as the I'll get there. But anyway, second inning rolls around, and it's a scoreless game at this point, and just the floodgates open for the Blue Jays. Keep in mind, George Springer, who the Yankees were lucky. George Springer, he ends up going 6 for 6 in this series. The thing is, he didn't play games 2 and 3, and he came off the bench for a pinch hit in Game 4. He went 5 for 5 in Game 1. So the Yankees didn't even have to face George Springer, and still, it was a bad series for the Yankees. So, I don't know. By the way, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa did not start the first game and didn't start the fourth game either. So Kiner-Falefa with Oswaldo Cabrera coming into the fold. We've seen on the bench a little bit more than we had. Just something to think about with IKF. But the Blue Jays, you get some sloppy defense at times for the Yankees in this series. I mean, it wasn't like a major point, but tough plays that weren't made. Let's just put it that way. And Espinal is able to get an RBI ground out in the second inning. And so it's 1-0 Blue Jays at that point. You get an RBI single by George Springer. And then the big blow, a 3-run homer by Vlad Guerrero Jr., gives the Blue Jays a 5-0 lead. And so once Guerrero gets that, it basically feels like it's game over. Right then and there, feels like it's done. And it was. Like, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. The Yankees do scrape out a couple of really lucky runs, but you'll take them when you're the Yankees. Walk Trevino, hit by pitch Florial, a very lucky sort of infield single by LeMahieu, and then there's a throwing error by Barrios. Mind you, Jose Barrios had been struggling under this outing. He pitched very well in this game. So Barrios, that was disappointing. He's really been getting rocked lately, but the Yankees kind of cure that. Aaron Judge gets an RBI ground out, and those are your 2 runs for the game. 5-2 in the 5th. It is an RBI double for Alejandro Kirk, makes it 6-2. And then in the 7th, Albert Abreu comes on. There's some bad defense, where it looked like Abreu might have had a double play, and it was a bad throw by LeMahieu good throw by Donaldson the 3rd. Bad job by LeMahieu not being able to make the grab. What I should remember here is that LeMahieu is back in the lineup, right? So he didn't play in that Rays series, but he was back in the Blue Jays series and seems no worse for wear. So hopefully that toe issue is kind of in the past. I don't think it probably is, for the most part. So you get that error. Then there's a walk to Gurriel. So it's bases loaded and Alejandro Kirk gets a sac fly, and then a 2-run double by Teoscar Hernandez, 9-2. So a bit of a bad break by Abreu, but then Abreu kind of, doesn't help himself. He doesn't bail the guys out as he gives up those runs. So it's 9-2 at that point, and that's your final score. Lucas Licky would come on to pitch a couple of scoreless innings, and it's a blowout, straight from the beginning. Frankie Montas is the guy who you point to who really fucked up in this game. We go to game 2. Game 2, again, you got to remember, different sort of alignments positionally with sort of LeMahieu's flexibility and Cabrera's as well. So this saw Oswaldo Cabrera start in right field. And in this one, there would be, again, no Hicks, of course, no Florial, and no Marlon Gonzalez, no Trevino either. And it would be Kevin Gausman versus Jameson Taillon. And Jameson Taillon was a pretty good outing. He really made one big mistake to Teoscar Hernandez, and that cost him. But Taillon, goes 5 innings, 3 runs. Not great by any means, but okay. I mean, Taillon's been all right lately. Certainly not the pitcher that we saw earlier in the season, but he's been all right. It's been worse for Taillon at other points. It seems like he hasn't really been getting the run support that he had received earlier. Taillon has a really good 11-4 record, but it's been getting worse. So the Yankees are only able to scratch out 4 hits in this game. Offense really just is dead. But the best play of the game was the first pitch. Lourdes Gurriel hits to the right, and in Oswaldo Cabrera's first start in right in the major, I mean, really, he hasn't played a whole lot of that field even in the minors. I mean, a little bit. He robs Gurriel of a home run. That was the moment of the game. It was pretty exciting. He was very pumped up about it. You see his family in the crowd. It was pretty cool. And so that happens, but nothing, that was like the one moment of excitement. In the 3rd, you get an RBI ground up by Lourdes Gurriel. And in the 4th, like I said, the big blow, a 2-run shot by Teoscar Hernandez. Good job. This is a really good series by Lou Trevino. Taillon gets in a little bit of trouble in the 6th. It's 2nd and 3rd. And Trevino is able to get out of it. So he keeps saying he's kind of alive at that point. So it's a really, really strong series from Lou Trevino after some struggles in that Rays series. So good to see a bounce back. And the overall numbers look pretty good since he's been acquired from Oakland. So it remains 3-0. In the 7th, Wandy Peralta pitches a 1-2-3 7th. In the 8th, Jonathan Loaisiga pitches a scoreless 8th inning, but Loaisiga, I still don't trust him. He struggled a bit in the last game in the series. Jonathan Loaisiga, it's tough. It's been a rough season for him. Really disappointing. Yimi Garcia comes out in the 8th for Kevin Gausman, goes 1-2-3 in the 9th. Aroldis Chapman just doesn't have it. He's awful. He sucks. I hate him. It ends up being bases loaded, one out. There's a couple of walks there, and Ron Marinaccio comes on, and you kind of wish he didn't in that situation, but he does. And there's a sac fly by Danny Jansen, makes it 4-0. And Jordan Romano comes on at the bottom of the ninth, and he's able to end it. And the Blue Jays win it 4-0. We head to game 3, the game that kind of looked like, pitching matchup wise, the best shot for the Yankees. It was Mitch White, the former LA Dodger, against Garrett Cole. And for Garrett Cole, I've never seen someone throw up more zeros, but then there's just a crooked inning. There's always that crooked inning. And this one, he didn't really get beat around so much. The fielding, it was similar to that time against the Royals a few weeks ago, where the runs are all earned technically, but the defense didn't really do him any favors. But look, and Cole himself defensively fucked up. Somehow it wasn't ruled an error on Cole, but Cole slipped and dropped the ball, and it was bad. But either way, Cole, there's just a little bit the dominance is there, and it shows sometimes. But look, Nestor, if we're talking about who's been the best Yankee pitcher this year, in terms of consistency and reliability, it's been Nestor Cortez Jr., who we'll talk about in game 4. Cortez has been excellent. If you ask me who I'd rather, who I feel better about out there, I think Cortez than Garrett Cole. Now, Garrett Cole is capable of giving you that crazy sort of 6 innings of 1 run and 10 strikeouts, whereas Cortez Jr., who was doing that earlier in the season, not as much now, but there's just a level of consistency there. But anyway, the Yankees, Mitch White versus Garrett Cole. And this one, Josh Donaldson was a late scratch stomach bug, and Donaldson would not play the last game either. I would assume he'll be good to go for the Mets series, but Donaldson would not play in the last 2 games of this series. And so, yeah, you have that going on. And that enables Florial, who was not in the original lineup, to be in there. So you can tell that Oswaldo Cabrera, he's getting regular chances. Florial, not so much. And, I think that's telling. But anyway, Yankees do grab that early lead. Much needed, in fact. You get a 1-out double by Jose Trevino, who through all this, Trevino has been pretty steady. The Yankees haven't been good, but it's nothing wrong on Trevino. The defense has been sharp as always, and, he's providing hits. Again, Trevino has really been a very nice, pleasant surprise for this Yankee team. So you get a kind of for left for reaching on an error, no advance by Trevino. First and second, 1 out, a rare RBI hit with runners in scoring position, and it's Esteban Florial. Gives the Yanks a 1-0 lead at that point. But let's just jump to the 5th. And in the 5th, it would be it's a no-hitter for Cole at this point. 1-out double, Santiago Espinal. He walks Danny Jansen, which you can't do. Cole can't walk Jansen. Then Jackie Bradley Jr., the former Red Sox, yes, with a 2-run double down the left field line. It was a tough play for Benintendi. It was a tough play, but maybe, I don't know. It's tough to say, but it's 2-1 Blue Jays. Then you get an infield single by Tapia on a play where Connor Falefa kind of double clutched, and that cost him. And then it was a close play where Vlad Guerrero is safe on a play where Garrett Cole drops the ball, slips, and Guerrero beats it out. If these things go a little bit differently, maybe that inning ends 2-1. But then you get a 2-run double by Alejandro Kirk on a play where Benintendi dives and doesn't come up with it. Again, not an easy play, but a lot of close plays, and none of them went the Yankees' way. Guerrero was thrown out at the plate, so what could have been a bases clearing double is just a 2-run double. Makes it 4-1. Adam Simber comes on for White in the 5th, goes 1-2-3. David Phelps strikes out the side in the 6th. Marinaccio relieves Cole in the 7th. He goes 1-2-3. Anthony Bass, scoreless 7th for the Blue Jays. Scott Effross comes on and, pitches a scoreless 8th inning. Unfortunately, it comes out that he has a shoulder stiffness after the game. Gleyber Torres, who has been bad by all accounts lately, gets kind of a lucky porch job to right field home run off a sac pop. Torres' 18th home run of the year, which is good. The home run count is good, but he has a 294 on base percentage. It is, Gleyber Torres, it's just, I don't like it. I really don't. It's hard for me to be positive about Gleyber Torres, but he does homer there, and that makes it 4-2. And then in the ninth, Albert Abreu gives up a homer to Matt Chapman, makes it 5-2. Abreu would go on the IL after the game. I guess they called it elbow inflammation. And then Yimi Garcia closes it out, goes 1-2-3, and the Yankees lose another tough game, 5-2. A winnable game, but they don't get it done, and that's just the way it is. We go to game 4, and this is Paul O'Neill Day. They honored Paul O'Neill, retired his number 21. It had been a long time coming. I went to his I actually was at Paul O'Neill's last home game when they chanted Paul O'Neill World Series Game 5 2001. And so it's been a long time, and finally his number is retired, so that was nice to see. Nice little ceremony. And we go into game 4 here. Yankees trying to avoid the sweep, and they do so. Alec Manoa versus Nestor Cortez. Like I said, the lineup was switched up a little bit with Benintendi leading off, LeMahieu cleaning up. And, Aaron Hicks in the lineup didn't do anything, of course. Marlon Gonzalez in right. Kernaflefa out of the lineup. Donaldson out with the stomach bug. And in this one, the Yankees take the lead, and it was lucky. Very lucky. A 2-out single by Rizzo. It was actually a nice shot by Rizzo. It was off the top of the wall and right. And then they do a hit and run, and it works to perfection. LeMahieu hits it in the vacated shortstop hole where they were. And Gurriel tries to throw Rizzo out of third. He doesn't. The throw goes away, and Rizzo goes home. So that hit and run ends up scoring a run on that play. And so it's not an RBI single. It's a run, though, for the Yankees. They take a 1-0 lead. We go to the third, and this was a very weird homer. Whit Merrifield homers, and this was a play where Aaron Hicks, it was ugly out there. It was. I can't blame him for this home run, but it went off of the wall twice. Hicks was kind of circling around, and I wish that Hicks was able to kind of just keep the ball in play. I'll admit, this is a little bit critical, and I don't like Aaron Hicks, so I'll admit that's part of it. But it's a weird home run, and I guess maybe I'll just be nice with Hicks. It's kind of Aaron Hicks's luck that, that is what happens. When you're going bad, you're going bad. And the ball just kind of finds you in the weirdest of places. So that makes it 1-1. But the Yankees, there was a bounce back to the Yankees at every turn today, and they do it again. A couple of walks. Benintendi and Rizzo with 2 outs. It's an RBI single by DJ LeMahieu. So LeMahieu getting it done in the cleanup spot, makes it 2-1 Yankees. And then, Cortez settles in. Nestor Cortez ends up going 6 innings, allows 1 run. And what else can you say? I mean, the guy has been really, really good. His ERA dropped. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win. He deserved it. His ERA is now 2.68. Really solid stuff by Nestor Cortez. We go to the 7th, and Jonathan Loaisiga gives up a lucky leadoff single to Bo Bichette. Then it's a ground out by Chapman, and then a walk to Merrifield. That's where Loaisiga goes wrong. And now he's out of the game. First and second, 1 out. Wandy Peralta comes on after Cavan Biggio, the lefty, is the pinch hitter for Espinal. But then what the Blue Jays then do after Peralta's brought in is they bring in George Springer. What does he do? First pitch single. Bases loaded, 1 out. And he walks Jackie Bradley Jr. Wandy Peralta just can't do that. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Bradley is not a great hitter at this stage in his career. And Peralta walks him, so that ties the game. But give Wandy credit for this. He's able to get Lourdes Gurriel to ground out. They get the out at home, and so it stays tied. And then Lou Trevino comes on and takes it home. Trevino gets Guerrero to ground out. Got a little bit dicey where Oswaldo Cabrera bobbles the ball at short, but then he gets the out. Bottom of the 7th, the Yankees take the lead and keep it. Adam Simber comes on. Infield single Trevino, and really good hustle. Really great hustle by Trevino. He's busting it out of the box, and he's safe. Marlon Gonzalez with a sac bunt. I like that. In that situation, it made a lot of sense. And then the big blow, finally, in what was a really good game, Andrew Benintendi, his first homer as a Yankee, makes it 4-2. A no doubt about it home run for Benintendi. Hopefully this gets him going. He's shown some signs lately. And that makes it 4-2 Yanks. And then Trevino just takes it from there. A 1-2-3/8. And then in the 9th, a 1-out walk to Merrifield. And he's thrown a lot of pitches at this point, but then he's able to get Tapia to line out and Bradley to ground out, and Trevino goes 2 1/3. Really yeoman's work by Lou Trevino to get the Yankees a big, big win. So the lead is 8 in the division. Could have been worse. And now the Yankees will have the Mets come to town. It'll be Max Scherzer versus Domingo Germán. Like I said, it's a rematch of what we saw at Citi Field, which was a close game. A game when the Mets won in the 9th inning. So the Yankees were able to hang in there on that one. And then the next one, we don't know. We know it'll be Frankie Montas for the Yankees. We don't know if it'll be DeGrom or Taijuan Walker for the Mets. Either way, that's going to be a tough matchup. Montas has not been good as the Yankees. So like I said, give me a split. Absolutely. I will be perfectly fine with a split. But I don't know if it'll be that lucky. If it's Scherzer and DeGrom, don't be surprised if you walk out of there with a couple of losses. So we'll see what happens. Mets come to town before the Yankees head out west to take on Oakland and the Angels. And the Yankees really do need to turn this around. It's been a tough go of it lately, and maybe somehow we said this with the Donaldson walk-off home run against the Rays. Hopefully this Benintendi home run can get the Yankees going a little bit here. I have my doubts, but we'll see what happens. Again, Yankees lose their 6th consecutive series.